Hey guys, welcome to Kyle's Kitchen. Today's recipe is going to be Boston cream donuts for less than 50 calories each donut and 6 grams of protein in each donut. So I have all the ingredients that you need right here. I'll start with the dry ingredients over here. You're going to want unsweetened Hershey's cocoa powder, a sweetener, any kind of nutmeg, baking soda, baking powder, sugar-free, fat-free Jell-O pudding mix, all-purpose flour, protein powder, preferably vanilla, oat fiber, unsweetened applesauce, non-fat Greek yogurt, vanilla extract, unsweetened almond milk, and egg whites. Alright, so I've finished measuring out all the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients.
I'll go again.
Okay.
I wasn't focused.
Alright, so I finished measuring out the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients. But first, before we get into that, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And you can prepare a muffin pan with just some non-stick spray. And then I'll get into what is in these. So the dry ingredients, you're going to want to add 30 grams of flour, 30 grams of oat fiber, 60 grams of protein powder, 20 grams of sweetener, 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and a pinch of salt, and just mix that up. And then the wet ingredients, you add in 150 grams of the Greek yogurt, 75 grams of egg whites, 30 grams of almond milk, 60 grams of the applesauce, and 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. And mix that up. And then you're going to go ahead and add in your dry ingredients into the wet ingredients and mix that up. I usually add in like half and mix that, and then I'll add the other half after. Add another half. So this is gonna be the batter for the actual donut. And it's gonna be pretty thick, but you just wanna keep stirring it just until it's completely combined. Make sure you scrape off the edges. All right. And then we'll stop there. And then, come on into the kitchen. We're gonna start filling our muffin pan. You wanna add like about a spoonful into each, and we should come out with 12 small sized donuts. So once you've filled up your muffin tray, you wanna get just a cup of water and take the spoon that you were using and dip the spoon in the water and just even out the tops of each of the donuts, because this is gonna make it so that when it bakes, it has a smooth surface on top for the icing. Alright, now once you're happy with how they look, they're gonna go in your preheated oven at 350 degrees for 15 minutes. So while those are in the oven, you wanna start making the filling. And it's gonna be really simple.
Restart.
Restart?
I went down here thinking you were gonna do something.
Okay. So while those are baking in the oven, you want to start making the filling because it has to sit in the fridge for like 15 minutes. So it's going to be really simple. All you need is the Jell-O pudding mix and the almond milk. And you're going to take 100 grams of almond milk. And then 10 grams of, I'm using vanilla, but you can really use whatever flavor you want. But for Boston cream donuts, we're gonna use vanilla. And we're gonna do 10 grams of this. And you also need a whisk. You could use a spoon too. Okay. 10 grams. Just mix this up. And it's gonna be pretty liquidy at the start. But you just wanna mix it for like 30 seconds. It'll start to thicken up a little bit, but it's gonna really thicken when you put it in the fridge for like 15 minutes. So that's pretty much it. And then we're just gonna cover this and put it in the fridge for 10 to 15 minutes. That was
It looked dumb.
How do I do it?
I don't know.
Alright, so after the 15 minutes are up, you can take a toothpick and test to make sure that they're done. And if you poke one and the toothpick comes out clean, then you know you're good. And you want to let these sit and cool for like 15 minutes. You can take them out and put them on a cooling rack. That's what I'm gonna do. And then after they've cooled, we will ice them and put the filling inside of them. They're pretty hot.
You burned yourself?
So we got all our donuts on the cooling tray, and we're just gonna wait maybe like 15 minutes for them to cool off, and then we'll fill them up with our filling. All right, now that your donuts are cooled off, you want to take like a straw, or you could use a chopstick or anything similar, and we're just gonna poke a hole inside the donut and then just like wiggle it around a little bit, not too much, and then that's it. And we're just gonna do that for each donut. All right, so once you have these little holes in each of your donuts, now we can start the filling process. To do the filling part, we're gonna take our Jello pudding mixture out the refrigerator, and you're gonna want like a piping bag, or you could use a Ziploc bag, but a piping bag is gonna work the best. And you're also gonna want a tip for the end of the piping bag. Okay, and then we'll take a little cup. And this will help us get all the filling in there. Here we have our Jello pudding. As you can see, it got a little thicker in the refrigerator. And we are just gonna put it into the piping bag. All right, now once you have all the filling in there, we're gonna start filling these. And this is where it can get a little messy, so be careful.
Be careful.
So we'll take our bag and try not to make a mess. Kind of like push it to the front without it going out the end, and then just twist it back here. And then should have something like this where it's coming out a little bit. So you just want to have it to where it's peeking out like that.
Wow.
All right, now we're ready. So we'll take our first one. The key is not to overfill. If you overfill, it's gonna make a mess. We made a little bit of a mess. So we're gonna start filling it and kind of pull it out as you're filling it. And then you should like see it coming out a little bit. And we're gonna do that for each donut. And this recipe is very customizable. So you could fill these with jam, raspberry jam if you want, or something like that. Some sugar-free raspberry jam. I'm just gonna kind of push everything to the front again. All right, so now we have all of our donuts filled, and we're just gonna make the chocolate frosting. So actually all you're gonna need for this chocolate frosting is the unsweetened cocoa powder, a sweetener, and more unsweetened almond milk. So we're gonna take 20 grams of cocoa powder and 20 grams of sweetener. Now you gotta be careful because some sweeteners are a lot more sweeter than others. Like for example, if you use stevia, you're only gonna wanna use half of what you're using of this because it's twice as strong. So this sweetener is 1-to-1 ratio with regular sugar. So that's just a little thing to keep in mind. And we're just gonna mix these two up. So again, this is 20 grams of cocoa powder and 20 grams of my sweetener. And then you wanna add in almond milk, just a tiny bit at a time, and stir it until it's like a frosting consistency that you're happy with. So I'm gonna start with like 15 grams of almond milk and stir this. And you'll see it starts off looking like very powdery, but it'll start to look like a frosting. I'll add 10 more grams, and then stir that. And I'm gonna add a little bit more. Now you see it starts to come together. And then just like that, we have our chocolate frosting. We're gonna take each of these and frost them with our chocolate frosting. And the last one. And here you have your finished Boston cream donuts. You can eat them just like this. I personally like to put them in the refrigerator and let them sit for a little longer so that the Jello pudding on the inside can like get a little thicker and the icing can also harden a little bit. So there we have it. This is Kylo's Kitchen Boston Cream Donuts. Less than 50 calories per donut. That's with the icing, with the filling. Less than 50 calories with 6 grams of protein. And they're delicious. You gotta try this recipe. If you do try it, let me know. I guarantee you're gonna like it. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and stay tuned for more healthy, low-calorie recipes in Kyler's kitchen.
Do the thing where you like put your hand in front of the camera.